Hey guys, welcome to my video on absolute value. So absolute value is technically defined as the distance a number or expression is from zero. So to help you guys visualize that, I like to think of that in terms of units. So for example, if I have my number line here and I'm making it go up to 2 in both directions, the absolute value of -2 as well as the absolute value of +2 is just 2 because the distance of -2 to 0 and also +2 to 0 is equally 2 units. For those of you that have taken physics, I also like the term magnitude when we're describing absolute value. So if you guys remember what vectors are, they have magnitude as well as direction. So for example, this one, it's a magnitude of 3, but it's going in the positive direction, so we put positive. This one's going down, so we say -3. It has the same magnitude because it has the same length as this vector over here. But regardless of the direction, the magnitude of both of these vectors is 3. So it's kind of like how absolute value works. Let's start off with an example on how to solve an absolute value equation. So I'm going to write, this is an absolute value symbol by the way, it's going to look like giant lines. 3x minus 4 equals 17. So like I said, 17 is the magnitude. So when we take away the absolute value symbol, our magnitude of 7 can mean 3x minus 4 equals 17, or 3x minus 4 equals -17. So this is how we're going to solve it. We're going to separate it into +17 and -17 and solve both sides. So I'm going to add 4 on both sides. 3x equals 21, x equals 7. That's one solution. Or add 4 to -17, which is also valid. Get -13. Divide both sides by 3 and get x equals, let's leave it as -13 over 3. That is another solution. These are two solutions, and you can plug both of them into our absolute value problem, and you will see that they're both valid in getting an absolute value of 17. Hopefully you guys get the gist of that, because I'm going to move on to a more, let's say, complicated problem. Actually, it's not even that complicated. I just say it's more steps. So this one we're going to do f of x equals 4 times this quantity, the absolute value of this quantity, x squared minus 9, minus, let's throw in another absolute value, 2 minus 6. So one thing I want to go over and let's also do, let's solve for f of 2. That's what we're going to solve for. So basically, when we're doing a f of x plug in a f of 2, it basically means, this 2 is our x value that we're plugging in for all of the x's. So we're solving this like a regular equation, but one thing I want to go over is what order you do an absolute value in. Absolute value takes the same precedence as parentheses in PEMDAS. So if you guys remember PEMDAS, you always start with parentheses. Similarly, we treat the absolute value like a parentheses, and we always start with that. So let's do our first absolute value, x squared minus 9. We're going to plug in our 2 for x, as this is a method to solve these problems. So 2 squared minus 9, which is equal to 4 minus 9. You get the absolute value of -5. Again, absolute value is just magnitude, so an absolute value of -5 translates to simply 5 units. The answer, just a little heads up, the answer to any absolute value, it always makes it positive. So if you're getting a negative value, then you did something wrong. Let's do the other one. 2 minus 6. The absolute value of this would be, again, positive 4 because it's a magnitude of 4. So let's plug in both of these into our equation. F of x equals 4 times the absolute value. I'm just rewriting the problem from before. And we were looking for f of 2. F of 2 equals 4. For this absolute value, we got 5. For this absolute value, we got 4. Equals 20 minus 4 equals 16. So f of 2 equals 16. One thing I want to point out when you're doing absolute value, especially on the ACT, is sometimes when the method doesn't come to you, the method to solve the problem doesn't come to you immediately, I really don't want you guys to agonize over it, because not only is that going to waste time, it's also not the most efficient thing to do. So for those cases, I encourage you guys to plug in all of the answer choices. So ACT has 5, A, B, C, D, E. Plug in all of these choices and see what works. Normally, I am a believer that doing it the mathematical way is faster than plugging it in and better than plugging it in. But at the same time, I don't want you guys to agonize over a problem. So in that respect, I would want you guys to plug it in. Plugging it in wouldn't really work for this example because we had to evaluate f of 2. But maybe our first example, if you guys forgot how to do all of this step over here, don't waste time over it. Just plug in your answer choices. That being said, I guess this concludes my absolute value video. Really hope you guys got the absolute value concept down. If not, feel free to comment below. And like always, like my video and subscribe my video if it helped out. I'm just starting out, so every like and subscribe really means a lot to me. Thanks guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.